Anywhere, any place, anytime with anyone. Kind of the framework and formula that I created to kind of define what I believe that higher level sales and communication formula can be. Meaning, regardless of what industry you're in, if we're dealing with sales and communication between two people, two entities, business to consumer, whatever it is. Meaning, I need to have the skill set and the versatility in whatever channel of communication that I'm using: text message, video, phone call, door to door, right? Showing up in person, real presentation, Zoom, webinar, whatever it is. I need to be able to communicate anywhere, any place, anytime with anyone. And that's the key. And what I want to talk about today, it's early, right? You can see the sun coming out, so I had to move the video forward. What are some things that people still misunderstand and that they need to really get, right? And I'm going to give you a couple things today in this video that are going to help you out, all right? Number one is a lot of people in general still do not realize the importance of what it is and the ability to capture somebody's attention genuinely. And as time is going on and we're more entrenched in social media, it's becoming more challenging for the average person who lacks communication skills to then be able to effectively grab somebody's attention. And I'm not talking about, oh, the 3-second hook on social media. Like, cool, that stuff is all fine, right? But I'm talking about from a communication standpoint. When you speak to somebody, when you send that email, when you send that video or text message, however, again, whichever channel of communication you're using, can you effectively grab their attention? So we look at different titles that we can use. When we make a phone call, we look at different scripts. We look at different methodologies and little tools and tricks that we can use. Do you understand that? And can you execute that flawlessly over and over? Because that really is what this is about. If you can do it every once in a while, that's not good. If you can do it out of 10 times, 8 or 9, that's great. And that's what we want to get you to. So number one, you need to realize, if I asked you this question, and you can leave a comment, if I had you cold call 10 people, out of those 10, be real with me. How many of them could you actually get to stay on the phone? To stay on the phone with you and actually have enough of a conversation so that you could hang up and move on to the next person and say, okay, they're not a lead, or they're just not somebody who's for me. As opposed to them hanging up on you or rushing you off the phone. How many? Because if your answer right now is less than 8 or 9, you really need to work. Even if right now you're doing pretty good and it's 5 out of 10, you need to improve drastically. Because within the same, this is the key, within the same level of effort that you give, if you improve your skill set and being able to grab attention, now, out of that same amount of work, those 10 conversations where only 1 or 2 you got through, well, if you get through to 7 or 8 in that same body of work, you're going to get way better results. And this is why I tell people, when your skill set improves, you don't have to work extra hard and do all this extra stuff. No, within that same time period and time frame, you get better results because your skill is better. So when we talk about a pattern interrupt, like me calling somebody and saying, I'm not the first one calling you today, am I? I call them, hey, my name is Bryan. Let me guess. And then I give them a line. You've had people calling you, promising you this and that. There's different methodologies that you can use to grab somebody's attention. I call somebody, right? Again, I'm in real estate, so I give a lot of real estate examples because that's just the primary profession that I'm in. But this applies to anything. You can substitute it. One of the questions I ask people who are expired listings in my profession, I say, 6 months ago when you put your home on the market, did you think you would be in this position today? And they're like, well, no. And that completely derails them from whatever the thought process is. And now I can ask my sequence of questions and move the conversation forward, which is really the whole intention. But can you effectively grab somebody's attention? How about even in how you introduce yourself? I always tell people, humanize your script. When we call, right, or when we talk to people in real life, we don't sound like a script. We don't say, oh, hello, is this Jack Johnson? Yeah, hi, Mr. Jack Johnson. My name is, you don't do that. You say, hey, Jim, Bryan, I'm Bryan. Bryan here, right? However you say it. Those are the little tweaks that you make that will effectively capture somebody's attention. Now, humanizing your script, like I call it, right? Why is that so effective? Well, it mimics and it mirrors what real conversation sounds like to people. One of the biggest issues that people have with grabbing attention is when you look and sound like the people in that category, like this one, sales, you activate what's called the critical factor in somebody's mind, and they don't want to talk to you. The critical factor is something that goes off in the mind. You learn this in hypnosis, that makes somebody basically immune to persuasion and influence because their guard is up. Oh, this is a salesperson. Oh, this is, right? So they automatically put you into that box. So when I come out and I say, oh, hello, is this Jack Johnson? Right? They're going to think, salesperson. Now, when I humanize my script, Jim, Bryan here, I'll be quick. They still might, a couple seconds later, be like, oh, it's a salesperson. But I don't give them that initial knee-jerk reaction. And doing that properly in the beginning buys you the next 3 seconds to talk to them. Then the next thing you say, if you do that right, it buys you the next 10 seconds to talk to them. Even using false time constraints. Hey, I only got a second. Look, I just got 1 or 2 questions for you and I'll let you go. Hey, I was just stopping by real quick and I'm going to get out of here in a sec. Those are called false time constraints. Why? They're false. We're still going to stay there. But I'm appeasing that little thing in their mind to get my 30-second or minute interaction and then move on. These are all little psychological tricks and things. And I've given you 2 or 3, right? There's tons of them. But you got to understand that if you can't capture somebody's attention, forget it. Why do you guys think I'm so confident? Moving across the country, having to start over my YouTube channel and Instagram and all that stuff. It's bullshit, but why do you think I don't care? Because again, I know my content is going to get views. I know how to hold people's attention. I know how to teach what I teach and show people what I do and recruit for my team. My communication has earned me all this, and it'll continue to help me grow or thrive or whatever. It doesn't matter. But under this framework, I know how to capture somebody's attention. And that's something you guys have to seriously work on. So again, there's a ton of things, right? And we're going to cover more in this video. Check out some of the resources I have. Like I created a new sales quiz, right? And I have some other stuff there that'll really give you guys some more nuanced, specific things that are really going to help you in regards to dialogues and things that you can do. And that sales quiz will be catered to you and your style. So you fill out a quiz, it'll identify what your style is, and then it'll give you help based on how it identifies your style to be. It's pretty cool. Check it out. It's free. So we have the attention portion of it, right? What's next? Well, the next part is not just maintaining control of a conversation, but leading it towards a desired outcome that you want. And this is missed with a lot of people too. They just start talking and they have no structure, no way of leading. Oh, we're just going to talk about whatever. Oh, and then the excuses come. Well, I'm just building rapport. It's like, no, dude. You need to have the ability to grab their attention and then have a short, quick, effective conversation. You can prolong it if it makes sense. But even then, if you guys are prospecting and talking to people and you're having every conversation is 10, 20, 30 minutes, you're wasting your time. You need to spend that bulk of your time on people who are genuinely interested. If they're not interested now, and they may do something in the future, exchange information with them, add them to your customer database, whatever that is, and then keep in touch and have your system. But you need to be spending the bulk of your time talking to people who are going to be doing something now or in the near future. Again, and you make that timeline adjustment depending on your industry. If you're following me in real estate and somebody that you're talking to is not going to do something in 30 days or less, stop wasting your time. If they're a couple months out, they're not a lead. Now, you may disagree with me, that's fine, but build your business properly. That framework I use to build my business big, and all my current team members are doing that. If you want to sell 40, 50, 100 homes a year, that's what you're going to have to do. And then as you sell more, that timeline gets shorter because you can only spend that precious amount of time that you have every day with people who are serious about doing something. But where people mess up is they lack structure and skill in the conversation. You have to keep it within a certain parameter. Stop, man. Sorry, my cats. But you also have to have the ability to ask effective questions that qualify and lead them down towards that route. So if I talk to somebody, if it's a buyer, I want to reach that desired outcome of setting up a buyer's consultation where I meet with them and then get a buyer's agreement signed. If it's with a person who's going to sell in my industry, the whole goal is to set up a listing appointment where I go meet with somebody to discuss listing their property on the market and getting that contract signed. That's my desired outcome. Now, there could be other ones because not everybody's ready. I can get their number exchange. I can get their email. I can stay in touch with them. I can do that. But there's always a desired outcome. Then depending on how the conversation goes and how the qualifying goes, I lead them down that desired path. We're not just winging it. But you have to be disciplined enough and skilled enough to navigate, because what happens? Well, external interrupts, life happens. Somebody could come and interrupt them and they got to go. Number two, we go off on tangents, right? That's what I loved about Jordan Belfort's like straight line. He gave you parameters. And he said, if you veer too far off, you lose the sale. He's right. I learned that over 10 years ago. You got to keep people within a parameter. You have to be able to have the skill set of smoothly grabbing them and bringing them back, which is something that you'll learn. But you have to know and be clear about what that desired outcome is, and then the intention coming into every single interaction, door-to-door, call, whatever it is to get them there if you can. Because the question that was always in my mind was, is yes still possible? If yes is still possible, keep going. My thing was, I'm going to get an appointment. I'm going to get a lead and a number exchange, right? Add them to my database and get the number, or nothing. Meaning I qualify them out immediately. Maybe I don't like their attitude. Maybe I wouldn't want to work with them, right? Maybe whatever. But the first two is what I'm talking about. If it's the third one and I identify that right away, okay, thank you, have a good day, appreciate you, next person. You see, but what do people see online? You see the highlights. Oh, this guy closed this guy. Most of the conversations aren't like that. But you have to have the structure. And this is where you guys have to go into your scripts. If you're not using scripts, I have scripts below as well. And you have to add. Think of the script as the bones. And you add other questions, and you still keep your core script, because those are the relevant questions that have to be asked and answered in your industry. But you got to add more. And the more that you add, and then you humanize it, like I told you, in the way that you ask the questions and the wording that you use and the syntax, well, guess what? Now you've added the skin, the muscle, the hair, and now you've created something that is the actual final form versus just the bare bones of the script. But you've got to be able to navigate that part. Grabbing attention is key. You can't do that, nothing else matters. But then can you have a masterful, skillful middle portion of the conversation that leads you towards that desired outcome? Now, as I'm describing this, maybe people haven't heard others talk about sales in this way, but I've taken a scientific approach to this thing and said, okay, this is a skill set that people have to evolve, and I take it very serious. This is why I've done so well in sales, and most people don't. You have to see this thing as more nuanced and detailed than most people are talking about it or how people are viewing it. This isn't just you spewing some random script. You have to know your product and service inside and out. You have to believe in it. That has to be verified. You have to vet every single person that you're talking to. You don't sell to people who aren't really interested and have no business buying your product or service. It's up to you to qualify people. It's up to you to make the decision easy for them, which I pride myself in doing too. Guide them, help them make the decision, because oftentimes, you guys will know, everybody puts decisions off. Well, that's a skill issue. I've turned people from, I want to think about it, to, okay, we'll sign within minutes. I've turned people on, we want to wait, into, okay, we'll do it now. And most of them have thanked me after for walking them through that. Now, the average person on the internet, oh, you're forcing people. No, I'm not. Because through qualification in this process, myself and them have identified this is truly what they want and desire. But for whatever reason, human nature, they're getting in the way of their own decision. And if I left it up to them, they wouldn't do it. Why are these people thanking me after that I gave them that little gentle nudge to get them to go through? Now, I didn't push them. I didn't twist their arm, because if you asked them, they wouldn't say that. It was smooth dialogue, questions, and I led them to that conclusion. Because one of the best things about the framework that I'm teaching and really giving to people is when you get really good at it, a lot of the realizations you're not telling people. You're asking questions and you're leading the conversation in a way for them to arrive at their own conclusions and then make that decision on their own without me shoving it down their throat. That's the beauty of this system, that anywhere, any place, anytime with anyone, right? That's kind of the surface level name of it. But once you get deeper into it, that's what it's about. It's question-based, it's very versatile, and hey, it leads to that outcome where you just melt away objections before you get them. But even if you get them at the end, you're good. I have no problem navigating any objection. And most of the time, like At my peak, when I was still just that single salesperson out there selling, if I sat in front of 10 people and presented a contract to them, I was getting 8 or 9 of them signed consistently. And most of these people weren't referrals. They were brand new cold prospects. I think the final average I did was like 8.5 out of 10 on average I was getting signed. So almost 9. And this is coming from the person who, oh, he's not a salesperson. He's not a people person. I heard it all before I started. But I said, hey, communication in sales is an art form, really, but it's also a science. Anybody can learn it. But you got to take it to that level. You can't just lackadaisically show up and, oh, I'm just going to watch a couple videos and figure it out. No, it takes a lot of training and dedication and a lot of work from you if you want to master it. So again, take advantage of the free resources that I have. I also do coaching and training. All that stuff is on my website. It's transparent. If you have any questions, let me know. And set a goal for yourself, right? If you watch this video and you said, hey, I can only get people's attention and have these conversations 2 out of 10 times, well, make the commitment. Hey, over the next couple months, I'm going to get that up to 5 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. And you'll see that with that same amount of work that you do in a day, you're going to be making a lot more money and you're going to be a lot happier. Okay? Anything else I can do for you guys, let me know. Be sure to drop a comment for the algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you on the next video. All right? Peace.